Hey everyone, it's Bradley and Jackie back for another episode of A Purposeful Pop Life. How are you today?
Good, we have some interesting shows to discuss today.
We do.
Movies,
We do. We get three, I think, right?
Right. So the first one is The White Lotus, which is actually a series on HBO Max. If you don't have HBO Max, get it just for this.
It's worth it?
It is definitely worth it. It's basically, so the writer is Mike White. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. He's pretty famous. He wrote Rock of Ages.
Okay.
Lots of other good things. I think he's even acted in like small parts and things, but he's a very talented writer. And what he's doing is he's reaching a wide audience here because he is talking about everything that's going on in the world right now.
Okay.
Wokeism, sexism, ageism, and how everyone is viewing it from their point, and how everyone kind of has justification in how they're viewing it.
Is this like centered around a family, around a work
Families.
environment? Okay.
So it's called the White Lotus, and that is actually it's in Hawaii, and it's kind of like a resort, I guess. It's very swanky, very expensive. You have to have a lot of money to go there. So it's kind of between the storyline between the staff that works there and the actual travelers, tourists. So there is a bit of the caste system about, how the employees that work there feel about the people coming in who have money and privilege they feel.
How does it feel relative to, we just watched Acapulco, and then also there's a little bit of that line going on there. How does it feel compared to Acapulco?
So it is similar to that, in the way that the only thing is in Acapulco, it's more just focused on the staff story and the people who reside in Mexico, so the residents there.
Yeah.
This is very much about the tourists, and my message, the tourists and the staff, and how their lives mesh together, and how there's kind of a bitterness there. I would say this is more about revenge, and what I think the writer is trying to say, Mike White, is that it's okay to want to feel like someone owes you something, but make sure you're asking the right person.
Yeah.
Who actually owes you something, and make sure you're not doing it out of revenge, but you're seeking justice.
Right.
So you can't just be angry at everyone. You have to be angry at the culprit, the person who actually caused you to feel that way.
That's a good message.
Please,
good message.
You need to get
I'll check it
HBO
out.
Max, because I think there's going to be a season 2. Wonderful cast: Connie Britton, Jennifer Coolidge, just phenomenal.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
So together we watched After We Fell. It's the third. I guess it's the third book in what this trilogy is. I have to say, the first one was very, very good, and you liked it. Then it just kind of went downhill from there. I think even the acting, I don't even know if the actors are into it anymore.
No. I'll say this. I liked it when we watched it, and not that we've become big movie people, but I've watched a lot of movies and TV shows since then. And if I had watched the original one now, I probably would not like it as much, because I feel like it's just strange. I feel like the fighting is, I don't know. So I tried watching this third one. I got through like 5 minutes. I'm like, nope, click, done. I'm out of here. This is not worth my time at all.
Sometimes I just try to see what I can get them to watch.
And that was not. This is not going to work. I watched a way better film than that instead. So.
Right now you actually have to rent it. It's $20 to rent. Would I recommend it? Not renting it, but when it does flop onto Netflix, and you're a woman, and you know what? It's the same story told over and over.
Yeah.
So you're either gonna like the characters and like the way the story's going because you've heard it and read it and watched it a million times, or you're gonna say, I don't like these characters and I can't relate to them.
I think that's totally true, and it's the same way I felt about On the Verge. There's a place for that show. There's a place for that series.
Yes.
It's just not it's just too much drama. I'd much rather stick with, that kind of stuff. I'd rather stick with like The Kissing Booth or Happily Ever After, or those other movies. I know. I'd rather go with those movies instead than go down this path. There's enough drama in the world to not watch that.
I agree, and you can watch those with your kids.
Totally.
And then Bradley watched a third one. So do you want to talk? I've never even heard about it.
Okay, well, speaking of friendships, this is a movie about friendships. In fact, it stars Judi Dench.
I love Judi Dench.
And she plays Queen Victoria, and the movie's called Victoria and Abdul. And Abdul's playing Ali Fazl, who I don't know, but he did a fantastic job. And essentially, it's about the queen, and she has lost her husband. And in the real world, she lost her previous servants 6 years before. And by a way of twist and fate, she runs into this new gentleman from India who's a servant to her, and she somehow takes a liking to him, and vice versa. And they connect looking at each other in the eye when they're not supposed to do that. And it becomes this ongoing friendship.
So it kind of has that cast element as well.
Absolutely.
Who should be on top?
Oh,
when really there isn't any. There's no top and bottom. It's just who you are.
Yes, but they addressed. She feels trapped as the queen. Her family, obviously British royals, are very against the Indians and the Indian servants, and have a hard time with this relationship. So they actually touch on a lot of racial issues there and bigotry. And conversely, when Abdul comes, he comes with another person from India who has the same amount of animosity back towards the Brits. They're imperialists.
It typically does work.
Yeah, so the movie does.
That's why there's conflict.
It does a fantastic job of addressing those issues. It does a great job of showing it from both sides of the fence. And I don't know what it'd be for an Oscar, but the way that they take Judy and they make her old and sad to start, and then her character comes to life as this relationship is developed. Her makeup changes and she becomes more invigorated, and then at the end, spoilers, she of course dies. But the way the makeup goes in that just goes along with her mood, and the costumes for Abdul, from his kind of plain servant clothes to sort of this fancier clothes. It's really it's a really nice movie. In fact, I was telling Becky that you could take this movie and teach it in class for like a world studies or a cultural pluralism type class, because it addresses all these different issues in one bucket. So as a movie itself, it's good. As a real story, it is a story. They found his diary and explains it all, and I highly recommend it. But it's a good story about friendship, what it means to be a friend. So
and I think that's kind of the purpose of what we watched is, you have to find like your anger, find like what you're angry at, and then point that towards that and do it in a justifiable way.
Yeah. You can't stick in labels. I thought after the fact, the word friendship, we use it as a label, but friendship really should be an action statement. I have a friendship. I'm actively doing things with this person. I'm actively engaged in a mutual reciprocal relationship with this person. Yes, I watch terrible movies for Jackie. But I mean, that's true though. That's like what it's all about, is having this relationship back and forth. And I think you need to, for that to work, you have to get rid of the bigotry. You got to get rid of the assumptions. You have to listen.
You
pay
can't
attention.
hear what people think, I guess, is the moral of this. So, we got some good stuff next week. It's Halloween, so let's see if there's anything scary and good on TV.
There's lots of scary stuff on TV.
All right, we look forward to hanging out with you next week.
Yep, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.